Question number 1, which I would always like to put, is the efforts taken by the employee. Douglas McGregor formulated two distinctive views of human being based on the participation of the workers. Now that's more important. I want to do it and I will do it on my own. So they are self-directed, self-motivated kind of people. The coach does not play, but the coach motivates every player to play. Good morning and welcome to the third session in Unit 4, Organization Behavior, where we are going to talk about the Mcgregor'S Theory X and Theory Y. Now, moving further, Victor Vroom was one of the most important person who stated that people will be highly productive and motivative if the two conditions are met, because he gave a very important theory called as the Vroom's expectancy theory model, which said that people believe it's likely that their efforts will lead to successful results. Point number 1. They also believe that they will be rewarded for their success. Now, this Vroom's theory is very important before we get into the Mcgregor's. Why? Because Vroom had once gone ahead and predicted this factor very clearly. People will always believe it's because of my effort there is going to be a successful result that's going to come into picture. Now, for every person in this world, we believe that if you work hard with determination, success is guaranteed. So that philosophy of success is directly dependent on the efforts. So all of us at some point of a time in life, we believe that if we continuously work hard for all the effort that we have put, there is going to be some result at the end of the day. So that is one direct expectation that you can believe in any of the factors, in any of the work that is being taken. Followed by, people also believe that they will be rewarded for their success. How they will be rewarded? Is it going to be in form of monetary, or is it going to be in the form of non-monetary factors? But definitely people believe on this aspect that some reward is going to come for them. And that reward might be today, day after tomorrow, or probably 10 years down the lane. But yes, there is going to be a reward for the success that they are going to enjoy. So another direct expectation that is being set across in our mind. So the concept of Victor Vroom is very important. Why? Because the productive factor comes from these two aspects. 1, your efforts, and 2, the success, the rewards that you are going to earn out of your effort. So these two factors we have to keep in mind before we start getting into the motivation factors altogether. That's why in most of the organization, whenever they do the performance appraisal, there are two factors on which you will be judged, you will be questioned altogether. Question number 1, which I would always like to put, is the efforts taken by the employee. So that factor is definitely going to come into picture. The second thing is that for that effort, what is going to be the outcome? So let's say that for that effort taken and he's able to do something credible enough, there is going to be a hike, there is going to be a promotion. So what is going to happen is that productivity is going to lead to success. That factor we have to keep in mind and we have to go further. Now, the next thing is that people will be motivated to exert high level of effort because they believe that there is a relationship between the effort and the performance. So let me just put in together the effort, performance and reward factor here. So when I say that, when I'm going to put higher effort and there is going to be a higher reward factor, yes, that's a truth for me that's coming into picture. How is that coming here altogether? We always motivate students by telling that If you work hard right from day one, you will be able to score 100 on 100 in your final examination. And if you score 100 in your final examination, you will be rewarded by a rank or by a scholarship. So what happens here is that I am connecting effort to performance to reward factor. If you work hard and you score 100, that 100 will be translated in the form of a reward at the end of the year. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to connect people from effort to performance and to reward. And that's what happens in any of the organization. Moment an employee decides that he wants to go up the ladders of the corporate world, he has to put in effort. And every effort has to be translated into performance. Why am I telling you this is that I am putting the effort, but the results are not being displayed, will not be counted. I am an excellent sales manager and I am trying to put in every single effort to see that the product is moving. But at the end of the day, if the sales is not happening, then my effort is not translating into performance. Moment I am able to translate my effort into performance, that is the sales into target achieved, then automatically I will be rewarded for that. That's exactly what we mean to say people will exert higher levels of performance once they are motivated. And that's probably the concept what you see in every kind of organization where there is a target, where there is an achievement status, where you are rewarded for your achievement, and that keeps on going like a circle where you start believing that every time if I perform, I'll go to the next level. And that's what keeps the force intact, the people intact altogether, and the organization keeps moving forward. Now, the next thing, we start talking about the Mcgregor'S theory X and theory Y. Douglas McGregor formulated two distinctive views of human being based on the participation of the workers. Now, that's more important for us to know. The word is here is participation of the workers. The first is basically negative, labeled as theory X. So there are two theories, theory X and theory Y. Theory X is on the negative side and the positive one is theory Y. So theory X is negative, theory Y is positive. Both kinds of people are existing. Based on the nature, they need to be managed accordingly. So we believe that in this world, there are only two kinds of people. One who believe in everything being positive, one who believe that everything is negative. The optimistic, the pessimistic kind of factor. So let's go further and try to understand these two personalities in detail. Now, the next thing is about the theory X. Let's start with the negativity. The traditional view of workforce holds that workers are inherently lazy, self-centered, lacking ambition. Therefore, an appropriate management style is strong top-down control altogether. Now, what happens here in theory X is that you believe that workers have to be forced, they have to be pushed to get a work done. They will not listen through mere words. You need to be strong. You need to be a kind of person, a dictative kind of a personality, a directive kind of a personality who goes and tells the workers, do this work, you have to complete it by 5 o'clock or else you will not go home, or else I will not pay your salary. I'm going to put the work under terms and conditions. If you're not satisfying, if you're not completing, then I'm not going to reward you, I'm not going to pay you. So what is happening here is that you are trying to push the employees to such an extent where you become completely dictative enough, where you completely hold them by their collars for each and every activity to be done. You believe that every employee in the organization is not self-motivated, is not self-directed. You have to guide them. You have to direct them. You have to tell them, don't stand, don't sit, do this kind of work, be attentive, all those factors. So you become an authoritative type of leadership where you keep dictating people, where you keep telling people what needs to be done next. This is considered to be a negative style of leadership. Why? Because most of the time people do not want to be dictated or directed. They want to involve themselves in the work and do. So that's why we find that Theory X is more of an imposing kind of leadership. It imposes a lot of personality. It imposes a lot of push on the people. So that's why we don't go with the Theory X factor. Now the next thing, Theory Y. It says that workers are inherently motivated and eager to accept responsibility. It's a very, very, challenging and a nice kind of a situation. Even before the manager or the leader walks up to the employee and starts telling him, the employee is all ready. He says that, yes, I'm ready to take the challenge. You can give me any kind of work. You can give me any kind of situation to handle and I'm ready to do it. I am not going to go back. I am not afraid of challenges. I am not afraid of the nature of work. I want to do it and I will do it on my own. So they are self-directed, self-motivated kind of people. Now what happens there is that you don't have to be an imposing manager. You don't have to be a controlling leader. All you have to be is an accommodative person. You have to be more of a colleague rather than as a controller. You have to join hands with the employees, understand their problem, flow with them, understand where the challenges are exactly and try to get on to a situation where you can help them to achieve the goals faster. So that's why we say an appropriate management style is focusing on creating a productive work environment. I want the environment to be on a productive manner rather than on a dictative manner. I want the environment to be on an understanding role where you try to understand each other, where you try to focus on each other's strength and then you start working. So that will make the situation go on a better position altogether. Now, they are coupled with positive rewards and reinforcement. So what happens is that we are creating a win-win situation where each of us will be rewarded, each of us will be held together with the same organization objectives and goals. So that is definitely a positive sign of growth, which I really appreciate and which I really say that the Theory Y will create a much more sense of belonging among the employees. So this is very, very important that we start getting into a positive mode of working rather than just the negative bias. Followed by the motivation is the state of mind on the concluding part, which I would say, which pushes all the human beings to perform things with the highest spirit and positivity. So in this world, everything comes with a motivation. Everything comes with a basic desire to achieve something. Moment you are in that state of achievement, moment you are in the state of that factor that yes, you want to do it, yes, you want to see that achievement coming across in your line, in your path, then only you will see that the performance is going up. Now, let us go back to any of the event that has happened in our life. That event happened because not that we were not motivated, not that we were not seeing the clear picture. That happened because somebody pushed us. Somebody told that you are capable of doing it. And that led in terms of achieving the success to the highest level possible. If somebody did not guide us, if somebody would have told that it's all right, just leave it. If it is not working for you, do not work about it. Do not worry about it. Then we wouldn't have gone in the lines of achievement at all. For many reasons, we believe that human beings, unless and until they are being elated, their moods, their levels of achievement are being elated with positivity, they will not perform. So many a times what we tend to do is that spread that positivity, spread that positive vibes all together. Then only motivation will also start building up in the organization. If there is no positive vibe, if there is no guidance, if there is no push, there is no thought process coming from your side, then there would not be an achievement at all. There will not be a growth driver altogether. So you need to motivate employees constantly, reminding them that about their achievement, their skills, their ability. Then only we will be able to see success. The leader will have to ensure that every individual in the team and the organization is motivated. 90% of the time, the leader of the organization is like a coach. The coach does not play, but the coach motivates every player to play, every player to achieve his intellectual potential. That's exactly a leader comes into picture. For a leader, the organization is like a playground. It has several players, and each one of these players have their own skills and talent. Each one of them are important. Each one of them will play their role. But the only problem here is that they do not know exactly in what levels they have to play, how they have to involve, where they have to go in terms of achieving the goal. So the leader takes the role of a coach. He comes forward, motivates them, tells them about their strength, their ability, makes them to achieve the goal as far as possible. That's why whenever you read about those big leaders, the MNCs, the CEOs and the corporate success factors, you would have seen that 90% of the time they spend listening to their employees, reading about the various problems, trying to understand, analyze the organizational issues, and trying to build in a smooth culture as far as possible. Leadership is not about just getting those numbers on the balance sheet. Leadership is not about posting big numbers in terms of profits or return on investment. Leadership is all about making your people stay motivated and inspired forever. So that's why the leader has to get that motivation drive into the organization as far as possible. Followed by the various motivation theories will also help us to understand what people can achieve over a period of time. Because by the theories, by the experiment done by the psychologist and the various leaders in that respective field, they've always made us to understand the importance of motivation. So it is definitely important for the organization to adapt those theory in the day-to-day operations and get motivation to the highest level possible in the organization. With this, I come to the end of this particular session. I hope and believe that all the information shared through this session will be of a great help and resource to you. In the upcoming sessions, we shall learn more about the different factors of leadership. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.